Say his name.
Storm Hughes.
Say his name.
Storm Hughes.
So they say that when somebody gets shot in our neighborhood, that we don't care. That's what they say. They say when somebody gets shot, the only time we come out is when the police shoot somebody. That's the only time we show like we care. When I tell you the work that we do, it is proof in the city of New York that the work that we do is working. There's 18 sites in the city of New York that does this work, which is under the crisis management system that deals with gun violence from a public health perspective. And those 18 sites throughout New York City, gun violence has went down. That's data that's proven in New York City.
A lot of times we have people and individuals come and talk about what the churches are not doing. But I'm here to make a commitment and let you know as well that there is a group of pastors who are called the God Squad who is on the front line dealing with gun violence every single day. And so for us, we take this seriously, not just within the pulpit, preaching in the pulpit, but putting our feet to our faith and coming out on the street and doing what we got to do. We have work to do and we're going to do our work. For you and your pain and your suffering, we are not going to leave you after tonight. We are going to be with you. After the light goes off, after the Facebook page goes off, we have a commitment and we have mothers who can say time and time again that the members of the clergy will not leave you alone.
Come on now, people. Get real. This is too much. Too much.
I have two lovely sons. They took one from me. One of my pride and joy. Very educated, very talented. Someone just took him. He was so interested in reaching the top. He was always excelling, always going to school, always looking forward to doing something more. He sang about 52 songs, rapped. I didn't even know he did all of that. He was always doing something. Why someone took my pride and joy from me? They took him away from me. They left a hole in my heart. I don't know if it could ever be replaced. I don't know if it could ever be replaced. I just want to know why. I just need the violence to stop. The guns to be put down. Find something else to do with your life. Do something else. And I always taught him how to pray. And in one of his songs, that was, he said, my mom taught me how to pray. And I just want to know why. I need some answers. I don't understand why they took my pride and joy from me. That's all I can say right now. I'm hurting deeply. And I know a lot of my family and a lot of my friends are hurting because they know the kind of boy he was. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you.
God hears the sincere prayer. And it's these kind of situations that make those who are crying cry out of sincerity. He says, I heard your moaning and your groaning by reasons of the taskmaster. So mother, don't think that your prayers are not being heard. Daughter, don't think your prayers not being heard. Friends and family, don't think your prayers are not being heard. Identify with my brother G Mac. All of us was on that at one time. Whether we in suit and tie today, t-shirt or not, we all experienced it. And I know what it's like to lose a loved one and feel the taste of blood in your mouth and want to get revenge. But I'm saying, that ain't the way.
We have just lost a guy great to the community. A young man who is full of life, full of aspiration, resilience. We don't have this child here anymore. He could have been the next black president. Who knows? He was full of life. He just graduated from college. We don't have him anymore.
We have to step up our game. Every brother standing out here. But I'm that 800-pound gorilla in the window.
Okay.
And I'm just going to keep it as real as I can.
Right.
Now, some of these organizations can't say what I say. So I'm going to say it for them. Yes, their programs are working. But they need more financing.
That's right.
They need more funding so they can expand.
That's right.
And when we turn around and put more money in one community than the next, what are we saying?
Inviting me to be here with you today, and as a mother myself, I can't even begin to imagine the kind of pain that all of you have gone through and the suffering that continues to happen. And all I can say is, you know, here I am to be with you. I work with the Anti-Defamation League.
A lot of the gangsters that's out here, so-called gangsters, you selfish. Because only people that's getting hurt is these mothers and these children that you leaving here. Like, you feel me? Like, I'm kind of ashamed, like, to even be like, damn, I'm banging this.
Storm Hughes.
Say his name.
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 Storm Hughes.
Peace, family. I'm Brother Henry Muhammad. I am a student minister and representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan here in Brooklyn, New York. And I'm here on behalf of God and our community in response to a senseless tragedy, once again, of one of our brothers and sisters being murdered out here in the streets of Brooklyn, New York. Because we're not getting the proper education inside the household and outside the household, then the mind is becoming imbalanced. And in that kind of imbalance, we're reaching out for things that are not worthy to be held up on a pedestal. So the gun makes a young man feel that he has an extension of power. Power that comes from within, he doesn't know how to reach within to get that power, so he's reaching out. And because of his own self-hatred, that is stemming from a lack of knowledge of self, then he's looking at his own people as his enemy. And so materialistic things and material want and classism and sexism and this racist mindset, even among our own with light skin and dark skin, we find ourselves thinking that if we take the life of someone, we're going to gain points in the community with our peers that'll make them look at us as being bigger than what we really are, when in all actuality, we're submitting to a system of social, economic digression that's allowing us to be engineered in a way that's diametrically opposed to our upliftment as a community. So in short, it is the social engineering that's styled in the community that's causing us to turn in on ourselves. And that young brother who did this, he's not really to blame. He's ignorant to the whole process. He's been made to think that he's doing something that's going to allow him to be looked up to, when in all actuality, later on down the line, he's going to feel real bad about it. The last thing I would like to say is, justice goes to sleep with us and justice wakes up with us. We don't get away from justice. We'll reap what we sow. And God's weapon in this time is justice. So it's not justice, doesn't have no color to it. Regardless of what we do, every deed has a consequence, and we're trying to help stem the tide.
My name is Pamela Esdell. I am the first cousin of his mom, and he was a bright, very intelligent guy, always looking, to get jobs and things like that. He just graduated from college, as a matter of fact. She went to his graduation this year. He was full of life. A guy that was full of life, and to see his life have to be taken by the street, by a gun, it's like, this has to be stopped.
A couple days ago, a young male, Storm Hughes, was shot and killed on the block that he lived. If you live on this block, tell me why that can't be you, catching a stray bullet. While your child sitting on the stoop is unsafe. We have to do more to protect our children, more to protect our communities. What you see is a shooting response of community who care. People who got about their parents out their house, or if they stoop and said, I'm going to respond to the violence in my community.
So we are leaving our purpose to let people know that we understand and we feel their pain. We are here now because another young man was shot. What can we say? None of us have the real excuse why this can be done. I don't know why this is done. As a Christian, I will have to go back to the heart. The heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. We need to change them from the heart. I know I may be standing alone in what I do believe. Programs won't do it. Remodeling parks won't do it. We need to apply this thing to the heart. Unless the heart is changed and transformed, we will be here time and time again, week after week and month after month. Well, we have such a lack of training that when a 15-year-old thinks that it's okay just to jump off his bicycle, snuff a life out, and then ride off again as if nothing happened. This is a mind job. We have got to get to the minds of our youths so that they know to respect lives, especially their own. But here we are. This begins in the home. I am asking, I'm beseeching the parents to let's go back to real parenting, where we teach the children right from wrong in the home.
It's a good thing just to see the community out there, coming out and just, standing up and getting the message out to the youth. It's a wonderful feeling to know that. And, as we come out, we have to continue to do this. And, we pray that the community will continue to step up and to, speak to the youth and give them that alternative, that message of hope and restoration. And certainly we are looking forward, amen, even for, Unity Day coming up. And that's what we have been doing also, over the years to, get the message out there to the youth about, transforming their life by the renewing of their mind.
Well, my name's Kelly. I was a cousin of Storm. And even though we were family, I consider us to be very close friends as well. He was loving. He was the life of the party. He was always there when you needed him. He was always there for me. I know he was always there for every of his family members, his friends. And he was pure. He was so innocent. Like, he was a guy, and he was growing up in the times that we're all growing up in, but he didn't let it stop him do what he wants to do. He was ready to take on the world and get where he needed to be in life. He had so many ambitions, and he was Storm. He was just Storm to me. He was one of my closest friends.
I would definitely say that this block right here is a tight-knit community, 91st Street between Church and Avenue A. Every house, I know the homeowners personally. We all are very tight when it comes down to anything that happens in our community here, especially. It's unfortunate what happened, but for me speaking personally, I think more needs to be done in the park area and to bring the younger generation some kind of guidance. By that I mean every year we have an annual basketball tournament. Maybe we bring some people out to the park. We bring them together. We introduce them to the local kids who like to play basketball, hang out in the park, and possibly change their views on society itself. There's not much more I can say to what really happened because I wasn't around when it did happen. But I did step up my house after the shooting occurred and saw the young man laying there fighting for his life. It happened in broad daylight. I got off of work, 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish. My mother lives down the block. Like I said, we're a tight-knit community. I live here. My mother lives down the block. She came knocking on the door thinking that it was me who was shot in a frantic panic because the person who died, the guy who died, had the same frame and build as me. And that's every parent's worry, is that my child? What's going on? And no one should have to fear that. Heartbroken. I could only imagine. My mother, she thought it was me and thought she was about to pass out. So I could only feel for that mother who lost her son. It's very heartbreaking that something like that could happen in this neighborhood. Bad things happen everywhere. We can't, fight off evil, but we could try to do something to make a difference.
I'm here with friends and family of Storm. I'm also here with Sharon. And so what we did was, we had a prayer vigil. Then we also walked through the community to let them know that that Storm was not just another number. He was an actual person who had family. He was loved. he is continued to be loved. And what we're saying is that we want the family to know, the community to know that this is just not one other murder that is going to be swept under the rug, or we figure that we had enough of the murders and therefore we're going to stay inside, or it's not our concern. Every single murder that happens in our city, that happens in our country, we are concerned about it. Specifically, even in the 6-7 precinct, where a group of pastors has decided to come together, that anyone who is shot and killed, we are going to respond. We're doing preventative work too as well. I don't want people to think that, well, when we respond it's too late. No, this is also preventative work. We're talking to people, we're meeting people, let them see the seriousness and the pain and the suffering that a family go through for a senseless killing. The killing made no sense. It's just a waste of an opportunity of a young man who had his whole life ahead of him in college, looking for a job. His life is ahead of him. He's just but 22 years old. And then here we are now marching on the fact that, that he is gone for no good reason. It's ridiculous. And so we are here to show the family support, and we stand in solidarity with the family for sure. At 15 years old, I mean, you have to think about what would a young man at the age of 15 years old have the imagination to get a gun, to scope out, quote unquote, the individual, to commit the act, calmly go back and get a bike again and then continue to ride like nothing happens. He is living in a world that is not real. It's a reality that on television and the music that is played, these young people, sometimes they don't understand the pain and the suffering. As you see behind us and over here, the pain and suffering it puts a family through. I mean, but God, I mean, you're just destroying people's lives because of senseless decision that is made. So while our heart is saddened, we are also encouraged to see the support that we have out here today. Amen. And the family who is standing with us. Amen. I know on behalf of the family, amen, I know that they really appreciate the fact that we are here standing with them. I can't imagine what used to happen 4 or 5 years ago when someone was killed and no one in the community came to their doorstep. No one offered a meal. No one offered a prayer. Could you imagine what happened 4 or 5 years ago when this was not in place? I mean, a family who was, someone who was killed, a loved one was killed, and they would have to bury that loved one all alone. But look at the community now. We're coming forward. We're stepping forward to join them. I mean, everybody don't know one another. I did not know Sharon before this happened. I mean, but people are here. I mean, people are here and they're standing forward. So to have a 15-year-old with that mindset, it means to say as a community we have so much work to do is unbelievable. Yes. We don't know where to start, but we're going to start where we always start, which is the foundation, which is God. I feel responsible because it's our duty, not only as pastors and leaders, but also as fathers and parents and sons and uncles, to be able to make sure that we care for the other. At the age of 15, I think summer school is in session. You have STEM programs, you have different programs, you have the STEP program for jobs and opportunities. And so if a young person can think about how they're going to kill someone for the whole day, of course I'm going to say I feel responsible. If you don't feel responsible, shame on you. We feel responsible for what has happened, not only to Storm, but for every other young person or mother who is here going through the whole idea of grief. I feel personally responsible. I mean, just feeling like, what could you do differently? Did I ever meet that young man? Did someone ever met that young man that could have changed his life around? So that's the reason that we are here, because everyone feels that there is a responsibility on them as a city to respond, and especially in Flatbush. I guarantee you, I don't know the shooter, I don't know his background, but I guarantee that 90%, maybe 95% of the time that he's from the Caribbean. And so, I mean, it is a point that in our community we cannot sustain this level of carnage for much longer. So two things going to happen. Is either we're going to continue to get the resources necessary to help our community, or we're going to continue doing this at this level over and over again.
My name is Sean Duke McFadder, Executive Director, GMAC, Gangstas Astronomical Community Changes. What was going through the young brother mind is what he sees, what he was raised up in. Our communities has pushed a narrative that tells our young people that it's okay to pick up a gun and answer with violence. That's not something that he woke up and decided to do himself. It's something that was put in his mind by society. So we have to do what we can to get in front of that to help them see something different. That's the work that I'm focused on. The only redemption you have after taking a life is with God. You can't never make that right with a person. You can't make that right with no family. Nobody, I mean, I lost my brother, so I know that I can never accept okay or I'm sorry, because there's never no bringing that back. So for a young brother who pulls the trigger, yeah, that life is over. One bullet don't ruin one life. It could ruin 15, 20, 30 lives depending on the strength of that family or those families. Right? So yeah, you got more than one person lost. Now what happens to that mentality of that young person who has to spend the rest of his life in prison? Since losing my brother a year ago, and seeing that mother, it takes me back automatically. I mean, right now everything takes me back now. When I hear somebody say it's not going to end tonight, when they say when the mother's alone at night, and nobody's there to console her, the pain. I know what that pain is as a brother, but not as a parent. And I can tell you that definitely has to be a pain that I wouldn't even be able to explain, because I didn't bear my brother. I grew up with him. So a mother who loses a child, to constantly deal with that trauma, that's not something that turns over in 5-10 years. I'm also thinking about the traumas of how I will see myself and my family deal with the loss of my brother. So we have to look at the families that's dealing with that and figure out how we can help with those traumas. You know somebody that has a gun or is in a gangbang mentality, you push them to people that's doing something different to help them. If you don't know how to help them, we know how to help them. There's organizations that know how to help them. It may not be just our method. There's too many different organizations that's approaching gun violence from different perspectives. Right? It might be the gangster that can help them, or it might be the pastor that can help them. It might be the mother who lost her child that can help. Right? So we got to look at who can be that voice and bring those type of people to the forefront to give the answers to those who think there are no answers. That young people think that the only answer they have is that gun, right? If I don't answer with my gun, then I'm nothing. Now we got to change that narrative. Yeah, somebody always knows. So that's the situation that brung us out today. Young brother, allegedly, his friend was holding the bike. He let the shots off, ran and jumped on the bike. That person could have got in front of it, but that person was also part of the problem. I remember not many years ago, but several years ago, we had a baby in Brownsville by the name of Antique Hennis. Yes. Remember Antique? Antique Hennis, his father was a gangbanger, and his father was walking down the street pushing him, and the enemy saw and shot at the father, and the father survived, but the 2-year-old died. And what we learned was somebody passed the gun to the person and said, "Yo, there he go right there," and didn't have no care that man was with his child, right? So it shows you just about the mindset of the individual. Everybody around you don't want you to stop. There's a go button that they've been trained. We got to get them off that go button. Trained to go is no longer a way for our communities. We are funded under the New York City Mayor's Office to Prevent Gun Violence, which is a new office that was opened up in New York City to add to this work of gun violence. And it's a method of dealing with violence from changing the perspective, the mindset. There are 18 sites in the city of New York that are now funded. We're one of those sites. Before we didn't have no money and we was doing the work, so they saw that the work was real. But in getting funding, we're able to collect data. And the data is taken from all these sites on fights that's interrupted, incidents interrupted. Last year alone, we had over 5,000 interruptions in the city of New York. So if you think about 5,000 interruptions, that could escalate to 10,000 incidents of shootings. Right, so this is what we have as proof for those who think that this work is not something that's real. Look in the data of the Mayor's Office to Prevent Gun Violence, and you will see that this is real work that has shown and proved that violence is down in the areas that's funded to get in front of violence. Violence prevention, not waiting until somebody gets shot and respond. We got to do it before the shooting happens, and if a shooting happens, we have to stop the retaliations. That is proven work in our communities. That if you do that way, whatever method works to get preventive, we're going to continue to see declines in shootings in our neighborhood.
Say much love and appreciation for Shanduke. We met under the same circumstances many years ago. Young man was shot and killed, and since that time he has grown as a leader. Changed his life around. At that point in time, he was on parole. Yes. Yeah, and you had to be good, so I had to watch over him, making sure that he stay out of trouble. And he celebrated the day that he was off parole. And look at the work that he's doing. So I think he's a testament to the fact that, those young men who are on the streets who think that they have no future, no hope, I think looking at him gives them that opportunity that he can go from gang banging to now banging gangers, into sense of reality. So I just wanted to come on camera to really appreciate the work and the leadership that he's doing with gun violence in this area. So I mean, it's good. I mean, not much time that you have, people like himself, who give also to street credibility to pastors who are doing the work, and so he understands and he gets it. So we just wanted to make sure that we document this moment and this time.